Salah and game week 1 are inevitable. Welcome back to your English Aussie. Today I'm going to talk you through all the best players to buy, sell and hold for game week 2. I also want to talk to you about something that's been completely blown out of proportion in the FPL world. And if you watch the games closely and understand the tactical intricacies, you'll realize that this is something that you should make sure you avoid regardless of what others might be saying. So strap on your boots and let's dive straight into the action. So let's jump into the best defenders to buy, sell and hold for game week 2. But before I do that, I just want to talk to you a little bit about a couple of defenders that people are talking about as definite sells or looking to get rid of for game week 2 that I completely disagree with, and that is Kerkez and Frimpong of Liverpool. Now, if you did watch that Liverpool game, you'll notice that Kerkez and Frimpong both came off at 59 minutes. At that point, the game was 2-0 to Liverpool. Liverpool were completely comfortable in that game. Bournemouth were not creating opportunities, despite Kerkez and Frimpong both playing very high. I do expect Slot to sort of counter that measure going forwards and look to maybe negate the times where both of them are pushing onwards up that wing at the same time and leaving some gaps defensively. However, I thought Liverpool were completely in control of that game. Bournemouth didn't look like they were going to create any attacking opportunities. And it was actually when Andy Robertson came on at left back and he was actually at fault for the second goal. Well, he just didn't have the pace to track back and defend with Semenyo on that counter-attack. And Semenyo snuck in there at the back post to make it 2-1. At that stage, Liverpool became a little bit nervous. They also had Endo playing at right back, who a bit later into the game, they moved into central midfield and brought Joe Gomez on at that right back position. But when Liverpool had that main defensive four on the pitch, they looked really comfortable. That does lead you to believe that they are definitely going to look for some defensive reinforcements. Obviously, they'll have Connor Bradley when he's fit and back from injury, and potentially that does take some minutes off of Frimpong, but I think Kerkez is looking nice on that left-hand side. I don't expect him to be coming off at 59 minutes in the next game after having seen Robertson struggle to keep up pace-wise with Semenyo in particular at Bournemouth. For the second goal, again, just off a Liverpool attack, the lack of the holding midfielder and Gravenberch, who was suspended for game week 1, really showed when they were able to counter-attack on Liverpool. It was a great goal from Semenyo. He rained straight down the heart of defence. Van Dijk and Konate really backed off a little bit too far and didn't commit to make that tackle when it was important to do so. Again, I wouldn't read too much into this. I actually thought Liverpool looked defensively pretty decent and were completely in control of the game until they made those substitutions. So if you are hearing that you shouldn't have a Frimpong, you shouldn't have a Kerkez, you shouldn't have a Van Dijk in your team, that's speculation that I completely disagree with, and I definitely go against what people are saying. So, on to the defenders, and here are the people that I would look to buy, hold and sell. And my only tier 1 buy for this week is Pedro Porro of Tottenham. Tottenham do have some great fixtures going forwards. Difficult game against Manchester City in game week 2, so potentially you could wait until game week 3 to get him in. But after that, Spurs continue on a good fixture run going forwards. Another one is Ryan Aït-Nouri. Although tactically the way City set up meant that Aït-Nouri often tucked into the back 3 for Manchester City and didn't manage to get forwards as much as we were seeing in the Club World Cup. These are not the tactics that Pep is always going to be going for, and I do expect him to get a little bit more attacking threat up that left-hand side in different games. As you can see, his expected goals and assists per 90 in that game were only 0.08. Often you'll see Aït-Nouri with much higher attacking potential, and still definitely someone I would look at with City's nice fixtures. Next up on the list are the 3 Nottingham Forest defenders. Despite the penalty that they did concede to Brentford, I think all of these guys are still good picks. Really good fixtures coming up over the next 4 game weeks. And I expect Nottingham Forest to keep some clean sheets going forwards. Potentially for Defcon, Murillo will be the best, although Ola Aina did pick up the 10 defensive contributions required for the 2 additional points, and he was the only one that we didn't have on that list from earlier in the season due to his defensive contributions in the prior season. The next tier 2 buy is Reijnder of Sunderland, and I know I have done a huge U-turn here, but having seen Sunderland in that first game, maybe they are not the side that we were thinking they were. Having looked at Burnley as well, I did think that they did look defensively very shaky and will struggle to keep a lot of clean sheets this season in the Premier League. Reijnder at left back didn't quite get up the field and any attacking returns. He is quite a defensive fullback. However, at 4 mil, if you are looking into the Sunderland defence, especially with their nice fixture run coming up, and you want to potentially on a wild card or want to take a punt, Reijnder might be a nice option. Next up is Mickey van der Ven of Tottenham. Again, mostly just through Tottenham's nice fixture run. I would wait till game week 3 after they play Manchester City, but he could be a nice option. You can see here with his expected goals of 0.59, he has been a threat off set pieces for Tottenham and may continue to do so and be a goal threat. Thomas Frank is very good at set pieces and did have an excellent set piece coach at Brentford, which he would have learnt a lot from in that season. And finally is Tarkowski of Everton. I've still got him on here as I haven't seen the Everton match yet, as it hasn't taken place until tonight. I still think Tarkowski is a nice pick, and we will see how Everton go against Leeds this game week. In the hold section is Kerkez and Frimpong. I did speak about them earlier. I really do believe that if you have picked them, there is a reason that you've picked these guys. You're looking for those attacking returns for Liverpool. Liverpool are still a good defence, will be one of the best defences in the league. And despite what you might be hearing from other people, I thought they looked defensively sound with their main 4 on the pitch for the first 60 minutes. In the sell category, we've got Ezreal Konsa. I never thought he was a good pick to begin with, and his red card means he's now suspended for the next 3 game weeks. I would be selling if you are looking to move him on. Gvardiol as well missed out that first week due to an unknown reason. We're not sure whether he will be available for game week 2. Stay tuned, subscribe down below to my live stream where you will get all the latest content and all the latest team news and injury news, as well as I will be doing team reviews for all of your teams. Next up is Robinson of Fulham. He still maintains an injury and hasn't got back to full fitness for Fulham. Did not play this game week. Lewis Hall, again, left out of that Newcastle starting 11. Livramento preferred in the left-back role with Trippier on that right wing-back role. And finally, Alex Moreno of Aston Villa. I did see quite a few Alex Moreno I did see quite a few of you with Alex Moreno in your drafts in game week 1 and did advise you away from him. But any of you that still do have him in your drafts, he isn't someone that I think will start a lot of games for Villa, especially with Digne and Martin at the left back role already. Moving on to the midfielders, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please a quick shout out if you could like this video and subscribe down below. It makes a big difference to small content creators like myself, and I would really appreciate it. So Gakpo is the number 1 tier 1 buy on my list. I thought he looked really good for Liverpool actually on that left wing. I don't expect Liverpool to be signing Isak at least until after next week and Liverpool play Newcastle. They really want to string it out as long as possible, make it as difficult as possible for Newcastle going into that fixture in game week 2. We'll see in game week 3 and beyond before that international break and the end of the transfer window whether Isak comes in. That might damage Gakpo's minutes. However, I thought he's looked really good for Liverpool so far. And I think would be an excellent pick. Next up is Reijnders of Manchester City, or well known to many as Reijnder. He looked excellent for Manchester City at 5.5 million. His price has now increased to 5.6 million, as you can see there. He was getting up and down, being the main man supporting Haaland. and was amazing value with a goal and assist at 5.5 million. I don't expect him to play this full throttle role in every game for Manchester City. As I mentioned, their fullbacks were inverting a little bit with the right back inverting into that defensive midfield, allowing Reijnders to push on and play that supportive role for Haaland, and that is what led to Ait-Nouri slotting into that back three a little bit. So keep an eye out for that, but I think he's fantastic value at 5.5 or 5.6 mil. Next up on my list is Bukayo Saka for the Leeds fixture in game week 2. He will be my captain in game week 2, and I am hoping for a better turnout for Arsenal, who really, it was a poor performance against Manchester United, who looked excellent against Arsenal, and probably one of the only times Man United will lose 1-0 in the opening game week of a season and think that's a great result for us. Next up is Cole Palmer, still with great fixtures, although he was slotting onto that left-hand side of the Chelsea attacking threat. I do prefer Palmer in that inside 10 role where he is able to cut inside onto his left foot to produce those shots. I did speak about how Maresca does have that tactical ability to be shifting things around in that Chelsea midfield and could potentially move Palmer to some areas of the field where we like him less for attacking returns. That unfortunately did happen in game week 1. And we will see where he plays him going forwards. If he continues to play on that left side and pushing out towards the left to try and bring the space in for Enzo into that midfield, potentially someone that I will be looking to get rid of in the upcoming game weeks. Next up, Mo Salah. I think he's still a good pick for Liverpool. Watching that game, I did think that actually what we've spoken about in pre-season of the attacks being shared around a little bit more was correct, and you did see a little bit more of Gakpo on the ball, a little bit more of Wirtz on the ball, a little bit more of Ekitike on the ball, not everything flowing through Salah as it often does for Liverpool. However, I saw enough from Salah to see that he was still a good pick. He still looks really sharp and definitely is someone that you should look to have in your fantasy team if you can afford him at 14.5. Mohamed Kudus, an excellent game for Spurs. If Thomas Frank plays that 3-5-2 formation, Kudus could be playing up front with Solanke still regaining his fitness. Otherwise, I do expect him to be in that starting 11 for Spurs. And with the nice fixtures coming up after the Man City in game week 2, I think Kudus could be a really nice pick. Anthony Gordon, someone that we haven't really spoken about a lot, but after the Liverpool game in game week 2, Newcastle fixtures become a lot nicer. If Isak does not stay at Newcastle, Anthony Gordon does look like he might be playing up top until they sign a striker, potentially Yohan Wissa. He will be on penalties as well for Newcastle, so could be a really nice pick at just 7.5 million. King of Fulham is the only 4.5 million playing midfielder at the moment. He started and played 76 minutes for Fulham. Expected goal involvement of 0.36 for a 4.5 million midfielder who played 76 minutes was fantastic value. And alongside him, Harry Wilson playing the full 90, getting his assist. As I mentioned, I thought was a really nice pick for the start of the season, and he did reward those of you who did put him in your team. Just missing out on bonus points as well for Fulham. But I think Harry Wilson is still very nice value at that 5.5 million. Holds for me, Florian Wirtz. Although he didn't pick up any points in game week 1, he was still getting into some nice areas for Liverpool. I did think he wasn't on the ball as much as I saw him in pre-season. I do think he might be able to pick up some defensive contributions here and there, as he does have a little bit of a free role in that Liverpool team. He drops deep to pick up the balls. He chases back on defense. So there are a few routes to points for Wirtz, both goals, assists, and DEFCON points, in my opinion. Another one to hold is Mitoma of Brighton. Although he didn't have the greatest game for Brighton, I still think at 6.5 million, the Brighton attack looks really interesting. I think Jorginho Ruta at 6 million as well is someone that could definitely be on this list as a really nice option in that Brighton midfield. And in the sell section, Tielemans, I'm not sure why he was somebody that people were looking at so highly. For me, he's not somebody that I would look to have in my fantasy team at 6 million. I think there are better options at 5.5 and 6 million. Eze, I am a little bit concerned with Eze if he does move to Tottenham. He is still a wonderful player at Palace and a nice option at 7.5 million. But with the news that he might be on the move, I think I would look to move him on. Clivert of Bournemouth obviously hasn't started the season for Bournemouth. Still struggling with a little bit of a niggle. If you did have him in game week 1, someone I'd look to move on. And Jacob Murphy of Newcastle. We saw Anthony Elanga start in that right wing role for Newcastle. I think it's a bit tough on Jacob Murphy, who had a fantastic season last year. However, he does look to be a severe minutes risk and someone who might just be playing a bench role for Newcastle, coming on for only 12 minutes. So finally, moving on to the forwards, and we do have Ekitike at the top of the list. As I said to you guys, I thought he was fantastic in pre-season. I really thought that he was going to be a good player for Liverpool. I wish I'd put him as my captain rather than my vice-captain this week. But 1 goal, 1 assist, although he did come off at 71 minutes, which makes me think that he's still getting himself up to full fitness and understanding that Liverpool intensive press that they look to do under Klopp. But I think Ekitike is a fantastic buy if you can get him in. The other main man is Erling Haaland of Manchester City. This for me is a bit of a price point pick. If you do have the price point for Haaland, I think he's an excellent pick and someone that you should look to have, especially over Man City's next 3 fixtures. If you can't fit him into your team, then obviously we're going to be looking at some of these other tier 1 and tier 2 buys. Next one up is Richarlison. Obviously, a little bit of a reaction to his great game for Spurs, but 2 goals for him, a fantastic bicycle kick, and looks like he might be stealing one of those starting striker slots for Tottenham at 6.5 million. He could be a real steal at that price point in what could be a very good offense for Tottenham. Next up is Gyökeres of Arsenal. He didn't have a very good game week for Arsenal, got pulled at 59 minutes. However, with Leeds up next, I think Arsenal will look to come good, and Gyökeres might be someone that you want in your team for that fixture. João Pedro of Chelsea comes up next on the list. I still think João Pedro looked good for Chelsea in a game which there weren't too many chances. 0.4 expected goals involvements per 90 and 72 minutes for João Pedro. As we mentioned, we expect him to be a 70-75 minute man each week, so bear that in mind if you are looking to bring him into your team. Ollie Watkins of Villa. Obviously, Villa suffered the red card of Ezri Konsa, and that affected them a little bit. But with such nice fixtures over the next 4 game weeks, I think Ollie Watkins would still be a nice pick. Next up is Jean-Philippe Mateta. I did think he looked really nice for Palace up top, held the ball up well, got his body involved. Against a tricky fixture against Chelsea, he was still in the game, still looked like he'd be scoring goals, and does look like he is going to be taking penalties over Eze, especially if Eze leaves to go to Spurs. He could be a fantastic pick at 7.5 million. In the hold section is Dom Solanke. If you do have him, Spurs do have some nice fixtures from game week 3 onwards. If you're not looking to make wholesale changes in game week 2, I'd think about holding him a little bit longer. He's most likely to be on penalties for Spurs when he does come back. Danny Welbeck, someone that I would continue to look to hold for Brighton. Although he got to only 21 minutes, someone that I still think could provide good value, and potentially if he's an option off your bench, you could pick him for the nice fixtures that Brighton do have. Sesko of Man United, if you did pick him, he is worth holding, I think. Man United do start to have a nice fixture run a little bit later in the season. If he does go off, he could be someone that might be really nice. I thought United looked excellent against Arsenal. I actually think Matheus Cunha is definitely somebody you could be looking at in that midfield as well. He looked exceptional for United, and Bumo caused problems for Arsenal as well, and Sesko could be the end product of all of that. He only had 25 minutes, but I think he might get a start for Manchester United in game week 2 against Fulham, and that might be the week for him to pick up some returns. In the sell side, we've got Isak. Said he'd never play for Newcastle again. Liverpool won't be buying him before game week 2. He's definitely going to get 0 minutes next week and would be a sell for me. Johan Wissa, again, similar sort of circumstances. I don't expect him to play in game week 2. I think he might end up at Newcastle and probably hold out on him until he makes the move. Nicholas Jackson, again, suspended for game week 1. João Pedro and Delap look like they might be ahead of him in the pecking order, and Chelsea might look to get rid of him this season. He'd be someone that would be a sell for me. Delap as well, the bench player for Chelsea. João Pedro is the main man, and again, just not getting enough minutes for me to have in the team. And finally, Evan Nilsson of Bournemouth. I disagree quite a lot with what people have said about Bournemouth. I thought they looked lackluster, and they didn't create a lot against Liverpool until Liverpool switched up their defensive formation. Semenyo, again, had a nice game. However, he is someone that usually, for me, has probably one of the worst finishing in the Premier League. I plan to stand corrected this season if he does continue the sort of finishing that we saw for that second goal against Liverpool. However, for me, Evan Nilsson is not a buy and would be a sell given the way I thought Bournemouth looked in that game. I think they might struggle this season, and I don't think Evan Nilsson is worth the 7 million with some other nice strikers at the different price points. If you haven't already, please smash that subscribe button, like the video. It will really help, again, a small content creator like me moving forwards. Thank you so much if you've watched this video all the way to the end. I really appreciate it. Have a great game week, guys. This has been your English Aussie, and I will catch you later.